Welcome back to the Pause and Play podcast with Jessica Perkins. This is guidepost number 4. Listen. Listen. Cultivating deep listening to yourself and others. Listening is more than hearing. It's being present enough to understand. A reflection. Listening is an act of presence, a practice of pausing long enough to truly receive what is being shared. Often we listen in order to respond, to fix, or to offer advice. But deep listening invites us to soften all of that. It's about being fully available to ourselves and others without the need to do anything but be. When we listen deeply, we create safety. We offer a steady ground for someone else to rest upon. This applies not only in our relationships with others, but also within ourselves. How often do we rush past our own feelings, dismissing them as inconvenient or unimportant? Deep listening says, I am here, I am paying attention, you matter. True listening allows space for understanding, connection, and healing. It is a practice of presence and respect, a way of honoring what lies beneath the surface, whether in a conversation or within your own heart. Connection. I was walking through the city with a friend one crisp autumn afternoon. We both had coffee cups in hand, wandering slowly down side streets lined with brownstones and turning leaves. She was going through something hard and started sharing what was heavy on her heart. My instinct was to offer advice, to problem solve, to fix it, of course. But something inside me said, just listen. So I did. I matched her slow pace. I softened my gaze. I nodded, letting her words land without rushing to fill the space. She cried as we walked. Her shoulders shook, and I kept breathing, kept holding the space open. I didn't rush her along or tell her what I thought she should do. I stayed beside her, shoulder to shoulder, simply listening. After a while, she took a deep breath and said, Thank you. I didn't know I didn't need an answer. I just needed to be heard. Later that night, I thought about how often I had longed for someone to listen to me in that same way, without judgment, without advice, without trying to tidy it up or fix it, just to sit in the mess with me. And that day, I realized I had given that to someone else. And in doing so, I had also given it to myself, too. That moment changed the way I understood listening. It's not about solving or fixing, it's about holding space without agenda or expectation or judgment, so someone can hear their own truth rise to the surface. Since then, I've made it a conscious practice, not just with friends, but with my children, strangers in passing, and to myself, to listen deeply, to be still, to let someone else's truth land gently in the shared space between us. Listening is a small gesture, but it holds so much power. It's a gift of presence and one that can ripple far beyond the conversation. Try this. Small, tangible actions. Practice active listening. When someone speaks, reflect back what you heard before sharing your response. Set a 5-minute timer and listen to someone without interrupting or offering advice. It might be harder than you think. Spend 2 minutes each day listening to your own breath without trying to change it. During conversations, put away distractions like phones or tasks, to-do lists, and offer your full attention. When you feel the urge to speak, pause for a breath first. Allow more silence. See what happens, what unfolds. Pause and reflect prompts. Who in my life makes me feel deeply heard? Why? How? How does it feel in my body when someone truly listens to me? Where do I struggle to listen to myself? Why do I think that might be? What messages have I been ignoring from my inner voice? How can I offer myself the same deep listening I can offer others? Pause deeper. Listening deeply requires us to get comfortable with silence. Pause deeper. Listening deeply requires us to get comfortable with silence, to resist the urge to fill it with words, solutions, or stories of our own. It asks us to be present, not to fix, but to witness. In holding space for others, we practice holding space for ourselves. We learn patience, we build trust, we offer a quiet sanctuary where healing can take root. Not because we did anything, but because we didn't. We simply stayed. Holding space is one of the most beautiful gifts we can offer another human being. It's an invitation for their inner intuition to rise to the surface without interference. Most of the time, people don't need us to fix or solve their problems. They just need space to say their truth out loud, free from judgment or shame. Offering that space and witnessing someone's internal rumblings is often the simplest, yet most powerful act of kindness we can give. As human beings, we long to be witnessed, to be truly seen and heard. Often we already hold the answers that are true for us within, but we lack the confidence or clarity to trust ourselves. Holding space, especially when we've walked a similar path, requires patience and grace. Sometimes people ask for advice, but more often they need the safety of your presence more than your words. Listening is an act of love. It's a small, quiet gift that carries immense power. When you listen deeply to your own emotions without judgment or rushing to fix them, you create inner safety. You tell your nervous system, I'm here. You are not alone. Over time, this practice rewires you for deeper connection, self-trust, and presence. This is part of the healing journey, one moment of deep listening at a time. Play and connect prompts. Play the silent story game. Invite a friend to share a story while you listen without responding until they finish. Create a listening circle with loved ones. Each person speaks without interruption while the other holds silent space. Journal as if you're interviewing your child, your inner child. Ask, what do you need me to hear? And listen for the response. Go on a silent walk. Walk outside and focus on the layers of sound you usually ignore. Listen to your favorite song without multitasking. Close your eyes and be fully present with the music. Play deeper. Playful listening helps us tune in beyond words. It opens us to the subtler, quieter forms of communication like tone, gesture, energy. When we engage in listening as an act of curiosity and presence rather than control or fixing, we invite deeper connection. Listening with our whole selves, our ears, our eyes, our hearts, our bodies, teaches us to be attuned, not just to what is said, but to what is felt. It's an invitation to be in relationship in a way that feels safe, welcoming, and alive. Space for personal exploration. Journal prompt. What part of me needs to be heard today? How can I listen without judgment? Doodle. Draw an ear and fill it with words, images, or colors that represent deep listening. Collage. Create a visual representation of what it feels like to be truly heard. Include texture, sounds, images, colors that evoked that sense of being received. Let this space be where you listen deeply to yourself. Bite-sized art therapy prompts. Draw an ear and decorate it with affirming words you need to hear. Paint sound waves representing how listening feels to you. Trace your hand and write on each finger a way you can listen more deeply to yourself and others. Create a listening mandala, using repeated shapes and patterns that represent attention and presence. Photograph an object or scene that makes you feel heard or seen. Make a listening box. Decorate it and fill it with slips of paper containing things you want to listen for in your life. Write a short poem about the experience of being heard. Affirmation. I am open to listening deeply. I offer my full presence to myself and others. I create space where truth can rise and be received. I trust that listening is enough. My presence is a gift. Reflection on the affirmation. This affirmation invites you to soften and open. Speak it aloud as you take slow, steady breaths. Imagine your whole body listening, not just your ears, but your heart and your skin and your breath. Deep listening is an act of love. It tells yourself and others you are safe, you matter. It is a powerful offering of presence, one that doesn't require words or solutions, only attention, only care. Repeat this affirmation whenever you feel hurried, distracted, or disconnected. Let it bring you back to stillness and presence. Quote, listening is where love begins, listening to ourselves and then to our neighbors. Fred Rogers. Integration practice for daily life. Begin your day with listening mornings. Ask yourself quietly, what do I need to hear today? In every conversation today, pause before responding. Allow silence to do its work. Practice reflective listening. When someone speaks, reflect words back without your opinion. At the end of the day, journal, what did I hear today? Pay attention to what you may have missed. Why this matters. Listening deepens connection, builds trust, and fosters safety. It helps create the kind of presence that invites healing for yourself and for those you love. Final thought. Listening is love in action. It doesn't ask for answers or fixes, just for your presence. When you listen deeply, you tell yourself and others, you matter, I'm here. Every moment of listening we offer creates space for healing, connection, and belonging. You can be that space for yourself and for the world.